everybody, today I thought I would do a cabin crew video because I haven't done one in quite a while, so I thought I would do an advantages and disadvantages of being cabin crew, which I thought would be quite fun because there's quite a few questions that people keep asking me underneath the videos that I've already done. So I just thought if I do like an advantages and disadvantages, I don't think there's many people that are too truthful about the job. So maybe this will give a good insight into what, you know, is good about a job and what's bad about a job, because every job has good and bad. So this is my advantages and disadvantages of being cabin crew. So I think I want to start today with the disadvantages, just because I think we should start with the negatives and then go on to the positives. So we'll start with disadvantages today. Okay, so main disadvantages, apart from the delays, the grumpy passengers, screaming children when you're trying to be on rest at, you know, 2 o'clock in the morning and you haven't slept all day, there are lots of disadvantages to being cabin crew. Some might think they outweigh the positives. However, I don't know, you can make your own mind up on that. But also I just want to quickly say that these are from my personal points of view, so don't take what I say as Bible and think, oh, I'm not going to be cabin crew because Tasha said that, you know, this and that. It's up to everybody, and I'm sure that if we had, you know, 10 cabin crew here, each would say that different disadvantages of being each would say different things, you know, make up as a disadvantage. I can't even bloody talk, but you get it, yeah? You get it, good, I hope you do. Okay, so my number one disadvantage would probably be tiredness. It's such a surreal feeling for me now because I'm not flying at the moment, as I am now pregnant. Tiredness was one of those things where I just felt tired constantly, no matter how much sleep I got. So yeah, tiredness is one of those ones where you will just feel tired constantly as cabin crew. Cabin crew is shift work, it is, because you are working at like not very nice times of the day. Sometimes you'll be working through a whole night and you'll just literally be sat on your crew seat looking at the time thinking, oh my god, everybody is asleep. And I am just about to start my first meal service or second meal service, so tiredness is definitely a massive factor. Being fatigued is not a nice thing, and definitely now, you know, when the shoe's on the other foot and I'm at home, I've noticed now how tired I actually was. I feel 100% recovered now, but tiredness due to jet lags, time changes because of different time zones you're traveling to, etc., plays a massive part on your body, and you'd just be able to go to sleep. I knew I would be able to go to sleep at anywhere, anytime, any place, which wasn't very good. So tiredness is definitely a massive disadvantage in flying. So you might have not actually had anyone ever be sick on you, but prepare for that whilst flying. I have had quite a few people be sick on me. They've tried to dodge it. You know, it's not their fault. If you need to be sick, you need to be sick, and sometimes you're just in the wrong place at the wrong time and you are literally vomited on, puked on, and the things that you have to clean up, you know, I always look at it as it's not their fault. Maybe they're unwell, maybe it's a little bit more serious than that. Maybe they just have, you know, a poorly child with, you know, a sickness bug or something. Prepare to have a strong stomach in flying, because certain things on the plane that you see might not be great. Special occasions, including Christmases, New Year, birthdays, great nan's birthdays, christenings, hen do's, all these special family events, you're gonna have to learn to sacrifice if you cannot get the time off of work. It's one of those things, the airline doesn't stop, unfortunately, and just because it's Christmas Day doesn't mean that the airline's gonna stop flying, because unfortunately that just isn't the way it works. So cabin crew is a 365-day-a-year job, and your company might not be as sympathetic as you want them to be because you are missing your best friend's son's christening or Christmas, etc. So sometimes it can be really difficult in order to sacrifice these days, but your company should have a procedure in place where you can bid for these times off. And you know, sometimes there is an advantage to it because you can take your family and friends away with you on, you know, Christmas and New Year to amazing places. So there is an advantage to the disadvantage, but you have to be prepared to sacrifice those dates in case you can't actually make it. Make sure that you are quite a calm person, because you will be dealing with some people who are so grumpy and rude and ignorant to your job and just treat you with no respect whatsoever. So you need to be able to make sure that you can turn on your professionalism. And also, I found very difficult when I first began to fly that, like, why doesn't everybody like me? Like, I'm a friendly person and I'm bubbly and I'm outgoing, but sometimes you would do all you can for these people and you'd still get nothing back, not even a smile, not even a thank you. You know, you go out of your way to do these things. So those types of people, I feel that, you know, that's their life. If they want to carry on being miserable, you never ever know what's going on in somebody's personal life. And unfortunately, something about being in a metal tube 30,000 feet in the air brings out the worst in people for some strange reason. I don't know why. Also, you will be blamed for everything and anything because you are the face of the company. And as soon as they are on that aircraft, no matter what has gone wrong during check-in, during boarding and the whole flight, it's going to be your fault because you're the only person that they can rant to. So I would definitely say it's important to have quite a big backbone, but it took me quite a while to get to that point where I was like, oh my god, like, I don't understand, like, why can't they be nice to me, and etc. And it gets to the point where you just think, you know what, it is what it is. You know, you've done everything that you can. I don't think if you have a bad temper that this job is right for you, because sometimes you do want to punch people and you do literally think to yourself, who the hell raised you with those manners, because it's disgusting. However, like I said, you don't know somebody's life, you don't know what is going on, and sometimes you just got to brush it off. When I say that you're going to be blamed for everything, I literally mean you will be blamed for everything. You will be blamed for the delay, the child screaming in front of you that your seat has not got any leg room, the food isn't hot enough, the food isn't cold enough, the food hasn't got your choice. Literally, the list is will just go on and on and on and on. So, like I said, prepare yourself. Backbone, and you've just got to take it on the shoulder and just literally brush it off. Be prepared for people to think you are stupid, because people do think you're stupid. They think, oh wow, she's flying in the air. They don't think about those, you know, touch wood, those times when in an emergency situation you would be their best type of person to get them out of that situation. People don't think of that, and they will think you're dumb and stupid, and as soon as you tell them you're the air hostess, they'll think, oh god, she's just bloody airhead. Well, you know, to those people, that's what I think about you, because we're not stupid, we're not dumb, and we're certainly, for the training that we have to do with very intelligent people with a lot more experience with dealing with a medical emergency or an emergency situation than you will ever know. So that also goes on to the point where, say for example, there is a situation, you'll always get people that think they know what to do rather than you. In that situation you will be taught, but like I said, going back to having a backbone, it's about making sure that you have the ability to turn around and be quite stern. If you're in control of that situation, you need to follow through with it and don't let people intimidate you or put you down or belittle you. After a few years, the job might get boring to some, which is unfortunate, because I found that every flight was very different. You know, you've got a new crew, new passengers, and You just never know what's going to happen on a flight. However, I do understand where people are coming from by saying after a few years it does get a bit boring and monotonous, because it is the same routine. Although you are going to all these different places and it's amazing, etc., you do get to that point where you feel like you need to be challenged a little bit more. But that is where promotion comes into it, and you can do lots and secondments where you can go into different industry areas of the company, and you can you know, do lots of different things like engineering and like uniform and training, etc. So there's lots of development paths that you can go on if you want to, and you are finding like, oh, I'm feeling a little bit bored of being crew now, I want to, you know, do something different. Be prepared to make friends with everybody, and when I mean everybody, I mean everybody. You will literally go to Sainsbury's on a shopping trip and you will make friends with everybody, because you will become so friendly, and your other halves will always just be looking at you like, God, why are you so over the top? Like, there's no need to be so friendly. But I can walk into Sainsbury's and before I know it, I know a life story of the lady who is serving me. And I love that in a way, because I think cabin crew, you know, it definitely brings out a massive confidence in you. But at the same time, you know, it can be a negative, because if you just want to go out and just be grumpy, I find it's really difficult to be grumpy, because it just is in you. It's just in you. So sometimes when you go out and about, people will just be like, oh hi, and then you'll be like, oh hi, how are you? You okay? How's your day been? What are you up to? And then you just find something to relate to them about, and sometimes that can be quite annoying, because you can be like, actually, you know, I've got like 2 minutes, like other half's waiting in the car, and you're having a conversation about, you know, dinner food plans for the week or summer holidays or something. So that can be a negative, but also I think that's more of a positive. Dehydration. Now, dehydration is a massive one with being cabin crew, and I think it's extremely important too. You need to drink water constantly when on an aircraft. Water is provided for cabin crew, and I always used to have water with lemon and juice. I used to drink like 2 litres on a plane a flight. So that's over 8 hours, and I would just keep drinking and drinking and drinking and drinking. I try to avoid fizzy drinks. And anything with caffeine in it. I know I said about coffee, and sometimes on a night flight when you're so tired, that's the only thing that's going to keep you awake. And also I had a 2.5 hour drive home, so I needed some sort of caffeine to get me energized so that I didn't crash on the way home. So yeah, water, keeping hydrated, and also when you come home as well to help with jet lag, is making sure that you just constantly are keeping your fluid intake really, really high. That also moves me on to keeping your skin hydrated, and your skin will become really dry in the air. It's just to do with the cabin fumes, etc., and the recycled air. So I would say investing in amazing moisturizers is like such a benefit, and also lip balms, hand creams, and I would 100% recommend taking vitamins, because your nails and hair, etc., can become very, very weak. I found that my hair became a lot thicker when I flew. I think that's mainly down to the sun and the vitamin D that I was getting. It helped it grow, and also, like I said, I stopped straightening it and blow drying it and using any heat on it. The only thing I have found, which has been a massive issue, is my scalp has become so dry, and it's taken quite a long time in order for me to get it repaired. And even now, not flying, it's still you know, needs a couple of months just to sort itself out. And no matter what product I've tried, it's still happening. So we're getting there slowly. But at the same time, those sort of things you need to take into consideration, especially if you're prone to dry skin like eczema, etc. In your first year of flying, I would say you will become sick, and you will fight off so many colds and viruses and little illnesses, tonsillitis, etc. because you will pick up so many viruses on the plane. You think that recycled air for 8 to however many hours on a plane, it's just being recycled, and everyone, especially if someone's like constantly. You can bet your bottom dollar in the first 6 months of flying you will catch that and you will be sick and you will feel awful. However, after, you will have the immune system of a king, a gold-plated king. You will never get ill. It will be so difficult for you to get ill because you will have an immune system which is so strong. When you begin flying, you might not actually like it. And it took me about 6 months, and people kept saying to me as well, give it 6 months, give it 6 months, and I 100% recommend do not quit until those 6 months, because you need to give it time, like in any job, and it will be so fast paced and so different, and sometimes you'll feel like, oh my god, I'm just completely out of my depth, but it will all sink in, and you might have just started training, or you might have just started flying, and it's completely different to training. Like training, it's all very like, oh, this is the way it's done, and this is this and this is that. It's all completely not how it is once you get on that aircraft. So if you have just started flying, or you're concerned about flying and people say to you, oh my god, this was awful, or my first 6 months were hell, they are not great, and you probably won't enjoy it as much as you will after, but you need to give it a chance. It's also worth mentioning that being cabin crew can definitely mask certain medical issues. I find because you're so tired, and you know, we learn to just get on with things, that sometimes if there's a serious problem we tend to ignore it and brush it under the carpet. So it's definitely advisable to have annual checkups with your doctors. Just make sure you keep on top of things, and that will obviously benefit you in the future. Another really important thing to discuss and a disadvantage is sometimes can be a relationship. Now, I went into flying in a relationship with Rich, and it was really, really difficult. However, I do think now flying was the best thing for a relationship ever, because it enabled us to have our own space. When I was away, I was en route doing my own thing, you know, tending to myself, becoming very, very independent, and Rich was doing the same, eating terribly when I'm not here and leaving the house in an absolute shithole, but never mind. And I've only realised this now that I'm home. I'm like, oh my god, it's so messy, like keep it clean and eat nicely. But when you're away from each other, it can be definitely one of those things where your other half might turn around and say to you, it's not fair, like all you do is you know, go on a flight and you're en route and you just get drunk and go out and shop, etc. Like, what sort of job is that? Yeah, I can understand why people would say that to you, and sometimes it does cause a lot of friction because they won't see it as work, because they don't see you hard grafting, being shouted at, or being puked on, or picking up, you know, rubbish on the floor, trying to stay awake at ridiculous o'clock, because those are the sort of things that you don't talk about. I tend to think that crew are quite positive people, so you'll focus mainly on your positives rather than your negatives, which I find is that I'm just going off subject again, god. But so yeah, relationships, it could be hard at first, but definitely if you find a good balance, and you know, when you are able to take them away with you so they get to experience it as well, then they might be able to understand and appreciate your job a little bit more. But like I said, our relationship definitely worked much better when we were away and we had that space. He could do what he wants when I was not here, like watch football or go out with the boys to the pub, etc. And then when I was home, that was my time and our time. You know, we didn't really talk a lot when I was en route. I would obviously text and say, we're just taking off or just landing. But we wouldn't talk 24/7, just because it's my time, it's my work, it's relaxing, it's peaceful, and I just wanted, you know, my time, and let him have his time, which was really nice. Flying can actually be quite a lonely job, so you need to make sure that you're able to be by yourself. It can be quite difficult because sometimes if you are away, it's very, very, very rare, but say for example that you have a crew that you're actually not getting on too well with. It's, like I said, it's so rare, and I don't think I've ever had one flight where I've actually been like, oh my god, I just want to be at home. But sometimes it can be lonely, especially as, you know, sometimes people don't want to do much on a trip and they just want to go to bed and they want to catch up with their sleep because, you know, home lives are crazy, and people everybody has different things going on. So sometimes it can be very, very lonely, but the way that I deal with it, sometimes if I am feeling like, oh, I know those people won't want to do much, and oh, I know that they won't either, things that I do is like I always took my laptop with me, like fully loaded of loads of like TV series like Pretty Little Liars and Gossip Girl, Revenge, and like films, etc. And I would just sit there and, you know, I'd order room service and or like have an amazing bath with a nice face mask and hair mask and have like an amazing pamper evening, or, you know, read an amazing book. So there's definitely things that you can do to make yourself less lonely. So those are my disadvantages of flying. They're the ones I can only think of that really come to mind straight away to me. If I think of any more, I'll add them in down below in the comments. But now I'm going to move on to my advantages of being crew. So number one would probably have to be all the places that you get to visit and see and stay over if you're really lucky. Depends on what airline, like I said in my other videos, depends on what fleet and what routes that you do, but if you're lucky then you get to stay over some amazing places that, you know, your life you might have not have been able to have ever afford or question or think about. So you're so lucky in that respect. So you get to go over to these amazing countries, stay over, try local foods and experience different cultures, etc. So that would be my definite 100% number one. My second advantage of being cabin crew would definitely be the perks of the job. So you're going to get the staff travel, which enables you to get really cheap flights. So basically you're basically just paying tax on a flight. It might be on a standby where you have to wait till all the passengers, like the fully paying passengers, are on, and then you get whatever's left over. Or you can get confirmed depending on how far or how long you have been in the airline for. So that's a really good benefit. The other benefit of it is as well is being able to take your family members and friends away with you. These are called Klingons, and you might have heard that term before and just been like, what the bloody hell are they talking about, Klingon? So a Klingon is basically exactly like what I just said. You know, your friends and family, your other halves might be able to come away with you. So say for example, if you have like a 3-night Barbados and you want to take your mum or your dad or your sister, your brother or your boyfriend, your girlfriend, then they can come along with you. And I'm not sure about prices, etc. Don't hold it to me, but they'll pay like a tax price on the seat, and then probably a nightly payment at a discounted rate, and they'll stay with you. And you know, you can just, as soon as you get to your destination, then you and whoever you've taken can go and sightsee and arrange things to do. So that's such a good benefit as well. Another really good advantage about being crew is the amount of different people you will meet, the cultures that you'll experience, and you know, just everybody that you meet will be so different, and usually not people that you would necessarily hang around with or be friends with. And when you're flying with them, you have to, you know, be friendly. And don't get me wrong, you don't like 100% of the people that you fly with. I mean, that's impossible. We don't have to like everybody that we work with, but you just all find a way to work together. And it's so amazing, the stories that you're told and the reasons why people are going places, and just the experiences you will experience as cabin crew are just unforgettable and very memorable. When you tell somebody that you're cabin crew, usually people are like, oh my god, really, wow, and they really want to know about the job. The first thing they'll ask you is, what's the scariest flight you've ever had? I don't know why people just want to know, but it is exciting for people to know that you are cabin crew. A lot of people will also say to you, oh my god, I don't know how you do that, I'm terrified of flying, which is really nice in a way as well, because when you start flying you can also make sure that you can reassure people, because when you do start flying and you might have like a fear of flying, or you know, be a little bit apprehensive or anxious, then when you start flying it's completely different. You will completely see it in a different light, and when people tell you that they're really nervous or scared, you almost look at them like, I don't get it, like why? Because you're so programmed, you know, to do like 6, 7, 8 flights a month. So to you it's just like getting on a train or getting a new car and going to work, what it is, but you're on a plane in the air. So it's quite different, but it is the same sort of. The airlines that you work for will pay for the accommodation if you are having a night stop or a few layover days, and that's really good because you get your room, and I know with my company we get breakfast for free included in wherever we stay, and I know some airlines don't, so it just depends on who you work with, but there are definitely advantages because you can stay in some of the most beautiful hotels. I know that we are very, very lucky with hotels that are picked for us, and we get to stay in beautiful, beautiful hotels, and you know, so you're very, very lucky in that sense because you might, like I said, you might not be able to ever afford those hotels before, and then, you know, it's work, just chilling out in your full poster bed, relaxing. So that is my advantages and disadvantages of being cabin crew. Now, I am sure I've missed out things because sometimes I just can't think, and especially at the moment my memory is so bad. So I'm sure I've missed out things, and if I have, I'm probably doing an updated version in a couple of months. And also, like I say always, I want to do a Q&A, but the questions, I need them like written underneath this video so that I can get a clear understanding of what needs to be answered. Also, if you have any questions, you can tweet me at TashiPX or Instagram me at Tasha Parker RR. They will be up on the screen now. Also, I just wanted to quickly touch on something that was very, very close to us as cabin crew, and that was the recent Las Vegas incident. Now, it was very, 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 very close to home because I actually knew some of the crew who were involved in it, and I just wanted to say that I'm so, so, so proud of them for the way that they dealt with the situation. Although we are trained as cabin crew to deal with these situations, I don't actually think that you actually genuinely want to ever find yourself in a position like that where you are suddenly involved in an emergency evacuation because your life is at threat. Now, there's been a lot of controversy about passengers taking off hand baggage, etc. And I think we know as humans what is right and what is wrong in those situations. So I don't really feel like I should, you know, stick my oar in and make a assumption or a prejudgment about those sort of situations. I'm sure it's, you know, it's been spoken about and we'll leave it like that. But I just wanted to say, you know, don't let things like this put you off because it is extremely rare for anything like this to have happened. However, the way the crew dealt with it was just phenomenal, and you know, anybody who's cabin crew would relate to that, and anybody that's cabin crew would get choked and feel it's way too close to home because you just never know. So yeah, I just wanted to quickly say a little, you know, well done to them, and I hope that they are all okay. You know, we're all sending you lots and lots and lots of love, and you know, you're all amazing. So anyway, getting back to my video today, I hope you all enjoyed this one. Like I said, it's hard to always point out the advantages and disadvantages, but I feel like I need to be honest with you because you just never know, and you might get into flying and just be like, oh, I don't know about this and I don't know about that. So I hope you enjoyed it, and if you like my channel, I'm doing so much different things at the moment. Like, I started with like makeup and beauty, and then I moved on to cabin crew, and now I'm pregnant. Oh my god, my life's changing so much. I will do lots more cabin crew, there's so much I need to do. And also obviously more about the baby, etc. So if you like my channel, then subscribe and give my video a thumbs up if you did. Any questions, comment below for me, and any ideas that you want me to do, just comment below as well. But I hope you all have a fantastic week and take care. Bye.